Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to Peter Watches TV, where I watch all the TV shows. Watch all the reality TV shows, the true crime documentaries, the trending shows on all the streaming apps. I watch all the TV shows and I cover all the TV shows over here. Today we're going to talk about Big Brother, the premiere that happened over Wednesday and Thursday night. So if you haven't watched yet and you're going to watch Wednesday and Thursday night's premiere, two-part premiere, please go watch that before you watch this video. This video will be filled with spoilers, so I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't watched it yet. One of the things that I remembered last night as I was starting to watch the second part is that I follow all of these Big Brother accounts online, right? And so they were releasing information. I was like, okay, I can't look at it. I can't look at it until after I've watched the show because they're like saying like, oh, so-and-so did this and this happened. I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot about this from last year. I am so excited. I'm so excited. Big Brother's back. I can't believe it. And I'm so excited about it. Season 26 of Survivor. Did I say Survivor? Season 20. I need those glasses. I need those glasses for this video. Season 26 of Big Brother is back. I cannot wait. It's going to be season actually 47 of Survivor that's coming back in the fall. But season 26 of Big Brother is back, and I want to tell you my thoughts about what happened in the two-part premiere, and I also want to go through the cast and tell you who I like and who I am rooting for already, although it's just been 2 nights. So here are some of my thoughts. So if you guys haven't watched it yet, or if you have watched it, I hope you have, because I don't want to ruin it for anybody, like I said, but this will be filled with spoilers. So they split the premiere into 2 parts, and each part was an hour long. I did not love that they split the premiere up. It's like, you know, every year Big Brother feels like they have to do something different, and 2 things that they are doing this year, well, one of them I don't really know how it's going to play out, so maybe I will like it, but I feel like every year they try to do something so different that confuses the game and makes it like really, really different. And so it keeps the contestants on their toes because they never know. Like, you know, is a family member going to come in? Is a spouse going to come in? You know, is this going to happen? Is there going to be 2 evictions? So they never know. So it keeps them on their toes. But some of the things that they do, I don't love. And the first thing that they did this year that I didn't love was that they did a 2-part premiere over 2 different nights. I think that they're trying to extend the show, and so that's why I think they're starting it a little bit earlier this year, and that's why they did a 2-part premiere, but I didn't love how they did it. I wish they would have just, like, have everybody come in on the same night. I didn't love the 2-part premiere, if you want to know the truth. I also thought it kind of took away, and what it really did, it's very much, in talking about Survivor and throwing it out there, it's interesting because I'm going back and I'm watching all the seasons of Survivor from the very beginning. So this weekend, let me just tell you, I'll be watching season 4 of Survivor. I'm finishing up season 3 of Glitch. I just saw that Homicide LA came out, which I had reviewed Homicide New York, and it was so fantastic, so I can't wait to watch that. So many people are DMing me about Unsolved Mysteries is coming out, the new season at the end of July, which I cannot wait for. And then I have RuPaul's Drag Race to watch with my husband. We already caught up on the Housewives, Dubai, and Orange County, which is so good. So I have a lot of TV shows to watch this weekend. I'm really, really excited about it. Oh, also Sister Wives. But speaking of Survivor, what's interesting is, like, when you watch Survivor, even from the inception, but even to now, it's when they're put in these initial tribes, they have some kind of, even though there's no reason why they're put on one tribe or another, they have some kind of allegiance to this tribe. Well, splitting up the Big Brother group into 8 people and 8 people, them coming into the house, initially already does that. It's like, oh, you came in together and you came in together, so then those people are kind of aligning together. So I thought that that was interesting. I feel like they're trying to kind of split it up a little bit to see, like, if they can kind of, I feel like Big Brother is always a social experiment, and so that's what they're doing. They're like, we're going to let these 8 people go in at the same time, then they kind of bond, and then we're going to put these other people 8. They said in there that they isolated the first group individually, but it didn't look like they did. It looked like they all came down from the head of household room upstairs, and that they were all up there together. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how it was filmed. But anyway, I'm sure that somebody on one of the live feeds can tell us. The other thing I didn't like is I don't love the AI feature of this season of Big Brother. I may end up loving it. You know, it's like me when I started watching The Valley. I was like, I do not love The Valley, and then I ended up loving The Valley. So I may go back and end up changing that I love the AI thing. What I will tell you is interesting about this, and obviously I didn't get this until after the first round of people went through, but when Ainsley, the AI person, was being voted in or not being voted into the house, it was interesting that when she said, if you vote for me to come in, I might be good for your game. And if you don't vote for me, if you vote for me not to come in, you might regret it, right? And I thought it was interesting that out of all of them, out of all 16 of them, that only the guy from, I think it was the guy from New Jersey, was the only one that they showed that kind of picked up. He even voted against her, but was the only one that kind of picked up that maybe it was the wording of what she was saying. Because he even said, it's something in how she's saying it. And he couldn't like really target it. And I thought that was immediately, I was like, oh, he's smart. Like he's one to watch. It's the guy that calls himself an urban cowboy. I don't know. I'll tell you what his name is in just a second. But I was like, immediately I was like, oh, he's smart. He's one to watch. There wasn't really anybody that I didn't like, if you want to know the truth. Usually there's a couple people that come in kind of cocky and I'm like, I don't really like them. There's not really anybody that I don't like, if you want to know the truth. So that was the only other thing I didn't like. So if you watch a premiere, they bring the first, on Wednesday night they brought 8 people in, and on Thursday night they brought 8 people in, and then they had to vote for this other person, Ainsley, on whether or not she was going to come in. And Ainsley ended up being this AI person that's going to be part of the whole season. Whether they voted for her to come in, if they voted for her to come in and they said yes to her, then they got to compete over being upgraded and being, so the upgrades, I believe, are that they get some kind of like, not pass, what's it called? Well, anyway, they get like, there's 2 different rewards that they get, and being downgraded means that they cannot fight for, power of veto, that they can't fight for HOH, and they don't have a vote. Now, this was interesting to me when they announced this, and the 2 people that got it, hold on, it's Chelsea, and what's the guy's name? I can't think of his name. Cedric. Cedric and Chelsea were the 2 people that were downgraded, and immediately when I saw this, I thought, oh, this is very interesting for the game, because if I was playing the game, and I didn't want to get any blood in my hands, because this is very important the first week, I didn't want to get any blood in my hands, and I got HOH or whatever, like, that would be a really easy way for me to vote. I would just put Cedric and Chelsea up, because they can't fight for POV, they can't vote in the ceremony. They can't vote for somebody to leave. So they really like have no power in the house whatsoever. And so they really would be the easiest 2 to target. I felt really bad for them right away, because it's like they come into the house and like right away, they're kind of have targets on their back a little bit. I mean, they have to be thinking that, and they both seem really, really likable. I like both of them. And so they have to be thinking that we're easy picks for if the head of household has to, nominate 2 people for eviction, because we would be the easiest picks, right? Because we're the 2 people that we can't fight for power of veto. Somebody else could win power of veto to take them down. So this change right now, depending on the alignment, the building of alliances, who teams up with who, all of that could really play heavy into the first week and make the first week go off. It was interesting that a couple people said, and I don't remember this from past seasons, that they were willing to make the hard moves. And so we'll see if that's true. So that was the thing that, I don't know, it was interesting. I wasn't really that wowed, if you want to know the truth, by the premiere. I'm more excited to kind of get into the game and see what happens. So let's go through the contestants. I'll tell you what I think. The first person is Angela Murray. Here, let me turn this down so you guys can see the people as I'm talking about them. I always show my phone and then nobody can ever see anything on it. Okay, so the first person is Angela Murray. I believe that she's 50 years old, and she's from Long Beach, California, and she's a real estate agent. She's a family and kids and stuff like that. I love this woman so much. I am so rooting for her. Angela is totally who I would be if I came into the house. She's like so excited to be there. She's like, oh my God, look at this bedroom. Oh my God, look at that. That would be totally me if I was in there. Plus, she's in my age group, so I really, really like her. Brooklyn Rivera. Okay, she's interesting. So she's like a pageant winner. She was like Mrs. I think she was Mrs. Texas or something like that. And she's married and she has several kids. She's absolutely beautiful. It's going to be interesting. She seems brilliant. She seems like very, very smart. I have a feeling she might be one of the first people that they get rid of out of the house. I have a feeling they're going to be very threatened by her. I think she's going to go in very sharp, and I think she'll try to build several alliances right out of the gate, and I think it'll screw her. But if she can stay in there for a long time, I think she has a really good chance of winning the whole thing, but I just don't think that's going to happen. The next person is Cam Sullivan Brown. He's 25, and he's from Bowie, Maryland. He was with the first group. I don't really, to be honest with you, remember a whole lot about him. Cedric, I just remember because he was the one that lost the thing, but he seems really nice. He was in the military. It was interesting because Kenny, who's the older guy that's undercover DEA officer or undercover police officer, he he like spotted right away, Cedric did, because he was in the military, that he has a flag on his arm. And so he said, this is where you have to pick out early, like who's really smart. He said he has an American flag on his arm. Kenny does. And so he goes, so he either was in the military or maybe he's a police officer. And Kenny doesn't want anybody to know that he's a police officer. I think it's observation skills like that make you brilliant on this show. I really like Cedric. Chelsea, I really, really like too. She's 27. She's, from Rancho Cucamonga, California, and she's one of the other people that was downgraded, and I really like her. If you watch in the first episode, her and Angela are kind of like bonding, and we're going through the rooms and stuff like that, and she can just tell there's like this instant relationship there, and I really, really like her. Joseph Rodriguez is 30 years old from Tampa, Florida. He runs a video store, is a video store clerk. I really, really like this guy, and I'm going to tell you right now, he reminds me a little bit of Paul from like 10 seasons ago. He's going to be the one to watch. I think he's going to be really, really tricky, and it's weird because they're trying to build all these like showmances in there. I actually think he's kind of like one of the least likely people to actually get in a showmance, and I think he will, and I think it'll be a real one. I think he might be in a showmance, and I don't know why I have this gut feeling about this, but he might be in a showmance that like will last like past the season and stuff like that, but I think he's one to watch for. I think he might win the whole thing. And then Kenny Kelly is 52. He's from Boston, Massachusetts. He's the police officer, the DEA officer, former undercover cop, it says. I really, really like this guy. I have a feeling that they will feel very threatened by him. He's physically very big, he's very tall. They talked a lot about height, and like people are either very short or very tall. Mackenzie, who was in the first round, she's like tall, and all the guys are shorter than her. I think like that's going to play into it a lot. There's a lot of physical challenges on Big Brother, and a lot of these people are very physical. I think they'll see him as a physical threat, and I think that they'll get him out of there right away. I think also Angela will initially want to team up with him because they're like in the same age group, but I also think that she's smart, and she'll think to herself, I've got to get out the other older person in here if I'm going to make it for a long term. The next person is Kimo Opaka, and he is from Hawaii, and I really, really like him. He's 35 years old. He's a mattress sales rep. He shared a story about coming out, and that his older brother was really supportive of him, his big brother, and that his big brother had passed away from cancer, and that he is now on Big Brother, and he's like playing for his brother. I love his story. I love anybody that has a story when they come on here. He seems like a really, really nice guy, but I will tell you this right now, he seems super sharp, and I think he'll be a sharp player. I think he will be somebody that makes a lot of really good early moves, and they might bite him in the ass later because people will see him as being kind of like trying, conniving and trying to like work different people against each other. But he might have a good chance on us too. Leah Peters, she's 26 from Miami, Florida. She's a VIP cocktail server. I like her a lot. She's a very typical Big Brother winner because they kind of lay low for a while, and then when they have to get smart, they do. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what she does this season. Lisa Weintraub is from Los Angeles, California. She's a celebrity chef. She's a little cocky, kind of full of herself. I don't know. She didn't really move me a whole lot, if you want to know the truth. Mackenzie Manbeck is 22 years old. She's from Houston, Texas. She's a construction project manager. Okay. I love that she said in there that like guys ask her, she talks about coming from a family of construction workers, and I love that she talked in there about like men will ask her like, oh, are you like trying to do this or whatever, and she's like, no, I'm trying to take your job. Okay, she's going to be a real fierce competitor on this show, and I think that she has a good opportunity to make it to the end too if they don't get her out first. And I think it's going to be all in how she plays her cards. If she comes in and plays very kind of like, I don't really know what's going on, she can make it to the end. If she comes in showing how smart she is and how confident she is, I think it could really screw her. So anyway, and I really, really like her. And in all honesty, I kind of like when I first saw her, I was kind of like, oh, she's like the pretty girl that goes, gets a showmance. And she's not that at all. She's not. She's very smart. She seems brilliant to me. So this will be interesting to see. Matt Hardiman, he's the guy that was the urban cowboy. Now, he seems like when you watch him, like he's not super bright, but like he was the only one that really figured out that in what Ainsley was saying, there was a message. And I thought that was smart. He's 25 years old. He's from Russell, Georgia, or Loganville, Georgia, and he is a tech sales rep. He seems like a really nice guy. And then Quinn Martin. Okay, this guy's interesting to me. He's a nurse recruiter. He's 25 years old. He's 5'6". He talks about his height in there. These are the people that you think that they're not going to go real far because nobody pays attention to them, and then they go really, really far. He could be that. It's going to be interesting. He's also a Big Brother super fan. Big Brother super fans either do very, very well or they get out very early. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. I also think that they're going to underestimate him. He runs 50 miles a week. And he played soccer in college, so he's obviously a physical threat. He's very athletic. I don't think that they'll assume that because he had like hippie clothes on, very long hair. I don't think that they'll assume that about him. I don't think that they'll think he's a physical threat. He might hold on to that for a couple challenges and then show it because if he comes out of the gate being a physical threat, I think that they might be like afraid of that. Rubina Bernabe, I love her so much. She reminds me of, why can't I think of the girl from last season that had the showmance with, I don't know why she reminds me, that always wanted to show her clothes, that had the showmance with Cerie's son. Anyway, she reminds me of her. I like her a lot. I think they all could win. I'm in the first episode, but I really, really like her. Anyway, and she is age 35. She's from Los Angeles, and she's an event bartender. Takor Claudia. Okay, so she is, she's a crochet artist, and she is 23 years old, crochet business owner. Her stuff is fantastic. I was like, oh my God, I want all that stuff that she crochets. It'll be interesting to see what she does. I think she could be somebody that either goes in. I think she's very observant. I think she'll go in and just kind of watch things. I think she'll at least make it to like the jury and the halfway mark because I think that she'll just be observant. She'll just watch. I think she'll just tell people what they kind of want to hear and whatever. I think she'll just go with the flow. I think that that'll be very much her at the end. And then I think she'll show how smart she is at the end. Okay, Tucker Dolores, other than Angela, he's the other one that I'm really, really, like, rooting for. I really like him. He's 30. He's from Boston, Massachusetts. He's a marketing and sales executive. He shared in there about his dad coming out when he was a kid, and that he loves dogs and all this kind of stuff. I think he's going to be the America's sweetheart of the season. I really do. He seems like a really nice guy, and I just really liked how he interacted with a lot of people on the show. I think that it would be really smart for he and Angela and, like, Takor to team up, the three of them, with the guy with the long hair. Why can't I think of his name? I think if the four of them teamed up, or if he teamed up with the video game guy, I think they could go to the very end together. It'll be interesting. I hope that we see some unlikely alliances on this season, but I'm really excited about Big Brother being back. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.